right? And we seem to be live. Test. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right. Let me send this message off to the last couple of places it needs to go. Take another sip of that coffee. Good Lord. I am not awake. But you know what? It's fine. No one said I had to be awake. I just need to be conscious. Which is objectively a different... I had a word in mind and I completely lost it. A different requirement. Being conscious and being awake are two different win conditions. And I'll take one over the other, you know? It's like rise and shine. Well, rise at any rate. Yeah, I'll take the rise. I'll take the rise. Let me minimize this. Let me pull back up OBS so I can see what's going on. Oh, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a beautiful 8:42 a.m. on this wonderful Good Friday. I managed to come back to streaming just in time for them to off Jesus Christ. Amazing. Fantastic. Brilliant. Loving this. It's my favorite time of the year when everyone makes references to Abrahamic religions. Is Christianity Abrahamic? Actually, hold on a minute. No, because the Jewish don't believe that the Messiah has returned. Well, I shouldn't speak for the Jewish, but from what I understand, the Jewish beliefs assume the Messiah has not yet shown up, as opposed to Christianity, which believes that Jesus Christ was the Messiah and is on the path to returning for those end times. I think that's how it works. So in that case, would Easter not be considered part of the Abrahamic mythology? Or is it like an offshoot, like how we consider Marvel's Ultimate as an offshoot of the Marvel's universe? This is going to be offensive to somebody, and I do apologize. Hello, Blastflight. Thank you very much for the veg. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome in. Veg be upon me. Thank you. Welcome. It's been 2 weeks of no veg. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. It's been 2 weeks of me desperately cramming veg into my gob to get the materials to feel better with. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that veg. Oh my god, look at it go. Look at it fucking go. Just blazing through. Heyo! Hello, Jackback YouTube. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh my god, that's so much veg. Are we cramming veggies into gobs now? Yes, it's healthy. We've officially reached the level of veg where it's up above the screen. So, I don't know how much more your veg will do, Blastflight. Save your points. Oh, thank you so much for the hydrate. I'm gone 2 weeks, and the first thing you do is absolutely spam me with redeems. I see how it is. Delicious agua. Thank you very much. Bless you. Captain Comic Geek says, hello, Gata. Hello, Captain Comic Geek. Welcome in. Welcome in. I am back. I am alive. You gotta make up for lost time. It's true. It's really true. I am itching to get back into the swing of things now that I am no longer actively laying in my bed wishing for death. I have been sick for the past 2 weeks, and I will warn you that I do still have something of a cough. My lungs have been terribly irritated as a result of the large amounts of mucus my body was producing, which may be TMI, but I do want to preface this with like a warning that at some point I am going to laugh or speak a little too loud. My lungs are going to protest, and you are going to have to hear me cough in the background, and we're just going to have to live with that. My lungs are slowly but surely healing, so I will be #fine. But in the meantime, I am still recovering. But 2 weeks is enough for me. I'm like, no, I gotta get back in the saddle. I gotta get a move on. So that's what we're doing today. Let's go ahead and head over to the barn and see what we got planned for today. Yeah? And boop. Good morning, everybody. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome in. My name is Farmer Gata, and welcome back to the stream. It's been a hot minute since I've done anything. The last time we streamed fucking Sonic CD's Tales 2 weeks ago, and then I just disappeared off the face of the earth. Oops. Oopsie poopsie. But I am feeling better. I am mostly recovered, and I am ready to do things again. We're going to be going for a low-key, a chiller stream today. I'm going to do some farming on the Haycraft server. Actually, let me pull down the projector here so you can see exactly what we're working on. Boo-hoo, swig a double of whiskey and get back to work. Simmer down. Let's see, what do we have on the board here? Good morning. Good morning, we've covered that. It's been 2 weeks. I've covered that. Ignore the cough, please. Don't ask what I've accomplished. And what's that last one that's hidden behind the art? I regret using You know what? It probably doesn't matter. It probably doesn't matter. Let's just go ahead and ignore that. And let's get on to the Minecraft server. Let me pull down. Just reach up real quick and grab this. There we go. Before I get into the server, Daggerheart regrets? Oof. We can talk about that if you guys like. If you guys have been following me on Twitter and all my hot takes. But let's see here. I need to turn this off. And then I need, where is the donation bar? The donation bar needs to be swooped into the center. There we go. Fantastic. Ugh. Yeah, no, it's been an interesting 2 weeks for your Farmer Gata. A tweet thread. I made sure to bully you while you were gone, so I'm good. How were you bullying me? On what? Oh, were you bullying me on the Gatai server? I barely checked that. That's my secret cap. Oh, world map needs confirmation. Right shift. Which one's the right shift? Yes, there we are. That's my secret cap, Tin Comic Geek. I'm in a million Discord servers, and because of my lack of focus, due to my ADHD, Sonic figures. Oh, yeah. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I'm in so many Discord servers, and I want to support my friends so badly. However, the reality is that I do not have enough time in the day to keep track of what is going on all of those Discord servers, so most of them just kind of sit untouched for a good hot minute. Alright, what do I have in my inventory? That's right, the last time we met on the server, we were building houses for the villagers that will eventually move in. Where's my nearest dump chest? It's not over by the cube. It's probably over by the creeper barrel. So let's go empty our inventory out. We're just going to be farming, collecting all of our crops. Maybe we ought to bring a hoe, I think, to fix any issues. So what's the Daggerheart rant? The Daggerheart rant wasn't really a rant. It was more of a pseudo review that I did. I was intending to read through the entirety of the beta playtest and have opinions. Actually, let's bring this with me. And let's bring one stack of dirt with me. Do I have a bucket? I ought to have a bucket around here somewhere. I intended to just read through it and then comment on what I thought after I was done. However, only a few pages in, I had some capital T thoughts. So I started live tweeting those thoughts as I was reading the document, and I guess just the right amount of SEO and knowing people who were interested, it got a lot of eyes. I ended up almost doubling my follower count on Twitter for what that matters, just from having opinions on Daggerheart. Which means I have a whole new audience, specifically on Twitter, who are there exclusively for my opinions on tabletop role-playing games, which was already a problem when it wasn't, you know, a large chunk of my Twitter following, when half of the people that followed me still knew me as a VTuber. But now anything that I say involving dice ever gets a lot of attention. Not a crazy amount of attention, mind you. I haven't become like a micro celebrity overnight, but enough attention that my notifications are never quiet. which is not healthy for me as an individual. I absolutely am not the kind of person who benefits from having a great number of people yes-manning me at all times. Can you save me the scrolling and reading and spill the capital T thoughts? Yeah, I can do that. The TLDR of my read-through of Daggerheart is that their GM section is weak as hell, but the player-facing mechanics are really intriguing, especially for an audience of people who primarily are Critical Role fans or have only ever played 5e. This feels like the most refreshing and interesting sideways step currently on the market, even though it's not really on the market, if that makes sense. If they can shore up that GM section to make it easier to onboard people who want to run the system, this could unironically become a contender for the fabled 5e killer title. Will it actually kill 5e? No. Will it be probably one of the reasons why 5e inevitably dies? I would argue yes. So sounds like a Shift 2 system. The thing is, I call it a Shift 2 system, but in reality, its card-based mechanics make it such a different beast. What it successfully captures is the vibe of what people who are into 5e but don't fully understand the mechanics of 5e think 5e is. It's what the actual play crowd use 5e for, which makes sense considering Critical Role is Critical Role. It's what... I don't want... The problem is, whenever I talk about 5e and mechanics and the obfuscation of the math that 5e thrives with, I always run the risk of sounding like I'm calling 5e fans babies, or ignorant, or somehow less experienced than, you know, the Chad OSR story gamers, which is not my intention. Haha, first stream in 20 years and we're already on 5e. Well, they asked me about my Daggerheart opinion so they wouldn't have to read my thread. And you can't really talk about any of the game systems that spawned specifically because of the 5th edition OGL debacle without talking about 5th edition. You know what I mean? Like, a large part of... if I were to do a stream talking about MCDM's new TTRPG, or Tales of the Valorant from Cobalt Press, I would also need to be like, well, step 1, establish what it wants to be in relation to 5th edition, and then have a conversation from there, you know? Oh, why didn't the trash him work? Oh, I didn't turn BikuBot on. First stream in 20 years, and as usual, I'm forgetting key parts of the experience. Oops. Sorry, Captain Comic Geek. Yippee! No, I don't want to update right now. Definitely not. That will just break things. All right, it's loading. It's loading. It's loading.
Emotional damage.
All right, and I will trash myself in honor of you, Captain Comic Geek. Here we go. Here we go. There we are. Just what you all wanted. Okay. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Whenever I talk about any game system that is trying to go for 5th edition's audience, which, let's be honest with ourselves, Daggerheart is, it runs the risk of me implying that 5th edition players are somehow lesser or less knowledgeable or stupid babies. Oh, hello, Vividly Vivi. Which is never my intent. But there is a reality where some people who only ever play 5th edition are missing out on schools of design that 5th edition does not excel at. And that's not necessarily a moral judgment. It's just like, you know, you can't talk to someone about a school of academia unless they have the baseline understanding. It's like boomers and VCRs, you know? They're not at fault for not knowing how to operate a VCR, but if you're gonna have a conversation with them about, like, modern television, they have to understand what a VCR does and how to operate it.
Woohoo!
Minecraft.
Woohoo! Minecraft! Welcome in, James Dusk. Welcome in. Yes. It is I, the illustrious Farmer Gada. I have returned. I brought my hot takes, which at this point are just like basically simmering neutral takes, and I am here to share them with the internet. Don't thank me. Don't thank me. I do this for the people. Gada, buddy, how is a VCR modern television? Well, let me ask you one better. How is 5th edition modern tabletop role-playing design? Ayo! But also, no, I am just fucking ancient myself. I am ancient myself. What was it? Okay, so I have a coworker, right, who is actually my manager, right? Like, they are above me in the totem pole. I don't have an issue with that. I don't have any issues with, like, ageism in the workplace. But this individual is, like, very recently legally able to drink, okay? And they're above me. And they are receiving, you know, they're in communique with, like, the big brass up in corporate trying to sort things out because they're the manager. It's what they do. My manager came to me and said, Gada, what does the abbreviation NBD stand for? Because our middle manager sent me an email and responded with NBD, and I don't know what that means. And I had a moment where I realized, oh my God, we are so far removed from the original origin of text speech, where every letter you sent in a text was a charge, that the youth genuinely are missing out on some things that I just consider to be part of normal speech. Which is not bad, by the way. I must stress, this isn't me being like them darn kids. It's just like, wow, I really am fucking old. IDK, right? Right? Yes, I did inform them it meant no big deal, and they go, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense in the context of the message. I just did not know. I just did not know. Rafflecopter, my BFF chill! Oh, that brings back memories. That brings back memories. But yes, to actually finish my thought about Daggerheart, I think it has a lot of promise. It very clearly was written with the intent of avoiding a lot of the pitfalls that 5th edition has been struggling to rectify with their various rewrites and additional books. They straight out of the gate are like, yeah, no, we're not going to include anything that could be misconstrued as racist. We're going to purposefully make sure that people with disabilities have a space in our shared universe. We're not going to put a lot of mechanical effort onto biology because that runs into some issues. Thoughts allow. Hi, Tegan. Welcome in. Wakey, eggs and bakey. Exactly. Welcome in. I like Daggerheart for what it tries to do. I don't think it's going to convince anyone who's already into, say, Pathfinder, or who's already into, say, OSR. I don't think this is going to convince anyone to switch from those systems. But for an audience, specifically who is super into not Powered by the Apocalypse, who is super into modern fantasy games, and has been looking for something that isn't 5th edition to scratch that particular campaign-based fantasy itch, I think this is a very strong contender. The trick is going to be how much will it cost, because there's a lot of pre-made card assets, and how will they fix the difficulty with onboarding game masters specifically? A lot of their advice is very flimsy, and a lot of like, just watch a YouTube video, you'll figure it out, which is not helpful, in my opinion. For people who are moving from playing 5th edition to this, it'll just be a minor content change, and they'll be ready to go. But for someone who's completely new, like, no, they need more than this. They need more than this. I love the idea of wheelchair users in fantasy settings, just fun. I love the idea of fantasy settings that just put whatever the fuck they want in it. I do not like the generic expectation of fantasy, which, let's be honest, is just whatever glazed over, half imagined memory of Lord of the Rings is. Like that is the quote standard fantasy setting for most people in English speaking territories. With all your 5e slander, I can't wait for the day Brennan Lee Mulligan, Abria Iyengar, and Matt Mercer jump you in an alley. Here's the thing. I don't think Matt Mercer would ever jump me in an alley. I don't think Abria Iyengar would ever jump me in an alley. Brennan Lee Mulligan absolutely would, and I would be ready. I would not win. He is much better at speaking than I am. He will have like 6 different variations of a monologue ready to go. To absolutely destroy me. However, I'll roll up my sleeves. I'll go a couple rounds with him. I have no issue. Brennan would for unrelated reasons. Amazing. Amazing. Hello, Robe Brude. You're a new person. Welcome in. A lot of people out of Murica PDFs are essential over printed, so I wonder how the cards will work for that. That is absolutely true. You know what? I hadn't even considered that. They definitely have in the Daggerheart beta test, right? They do include like the files for the cards, and they do state, you know, in the text that if you have players who want to use like so the classes are separated via domain decks. Each class is a combination of 2 decks. So there's like Bone, there's Blade, there's Arcana, there's, you know, the actual specific names escape me because it's been a hot minute since I read that part of the book. But the idea is that classes pull from decks or lists of specific abilities, and each card has an ability on it, right? Oh, beautiful wife? I didn't hear you behind me. Hi, honey. What's up? Give the chicken some seeds. My beautiful wife says there's a chicken and wants food. Hello, sir? Or ma'am. Hello, Vividly Vivi. There you go. The chicken has been given seeds.
You around the whole time.
I know it was.
Ignoring it.
Well, no, actually, I gave it seeds when I was doing that side of the farm. It's been following me for the entire stream because I'm holding seeds in my hand. But yes, can I have a smooch, perhaps? Mwah. I love you. Why is Choopy wet? He shouldn't be wet. There's no water for it unless he like went face first into his bowl. How is he wet?
Just brushed up against me. It was wet.
That's concerning. Quick Gata, when's your wife's birthday? Soon-ish. Stop bullying me. But yes, no. So, more than one class will use a specific domain deck in order to have its abilities. And this creates some interesting synergy where you can have 2 different players using 2 different classes, and yet they have similar or synergizing abilities simply because both of them use the same deck for their lists of powers. The problem is when you are using physical cards, that means that like unless you have multiple copies of the card decks, you run the risk of like needing a card for a player and just not having it, which is not ideal. Luckily, the game's like you are absolutely free to print off your own cards. Like they will give you the files to do so, specifically to make it easier for more than one person to play however they want to play. However, this means that you either need to, you know, have the money to buy multiple copies of the decks. Your players need to pony up for whatever their favorite class is and just have a deck on deck for whatever game they're playing in. Or you need to have access to printers and ink to make your own decks of cards, which is definitely like acceptable for certain countries, for people who are economically doing well enough to have access to those resources, but it's not a one-size-fits-all, and currently, there is no advice on how to handle that without it. I mean, are cards like standard playing size? Libraries have free printing. Not every country has libraries. I'm thinking more of like Global South. Not to call the Global South poor. However, specifically South America, their role-playing scene has very specific cultural issues they have to work around in order to experience our games. So, you know, it's a little bit of a privileged solution to be like, yeah, just spend a bunch of time and money to print off whole decks of playing cards, and there you go, Bob's your uncle. So I'll be interested in seeing if they come up with a more analog method of handling this, or if they just leave it for the community to figure it out. I don't know. This is me creating a problem and expecting them to already have a solution. We're only in the first beta test. We'll see how it goes. I do imagine that there are... So I actually did tweet about this. The thing about the cards is that it's actually like a really brilliant marketing strategy. Like, not to be too cynical real quick, but can you fucking imagine how profitable the custom deck market is going to be for this? Like, not even just Darrington Press themselves, right? They could release exclusive domain decks using exclusive character art from their IPs, and people will buy that shit. They could make gold embossed versions, and people will buy that shit. They could make the exact same deck with the exact same content, but have an artist explicitly make it all in an anime style. And people will buy that shit. It is such a smart business move. And 5th edition Wizards of the Coast kinda, sorta, not really did something similar when they have like their spell card decks. But like those aren't the spell card decks that Wizards of the Coast ended up selling were for specific classes. This is for every class. Can't you just like use the cards as a normal ability list? You would think so, but there are some unironic like Magic the Gathering game card mechanics involved where, you know, shuffling the deck, having specifically pulling cards out and keeping them for an adventure is part of the gameplay. There's a mechanic where where in order to replace one of your abilities with a different ability from inside your like main deck that you don't always have access to, you have to spend a resource to make that tactical decision. If I don't know, let's say for whatever reason your paladin has a Kamehameha. There's no paladins, there's no Kamehameha. Let's say it has a Kamehameha, but because of how the game has shaken out, you don't have access to it right now for this play session. You can choose to spend some of your stress resource, which is part of the like HP mechanic, by the way, to trade one of the abilities you do have, put it back into your deck, and draw a different one. Which is really cool. I like it. But it also means that, wow, this really is a tactile card game that we're experiencing. How big are the decks? Is there a way to use a standard playing card deck and to then cross-reference? That's an interesting question. Maybe? Maybe. I guess. Maybe. Kind of ruins the point of the cards is the thing. The idea is to have your abilities, which are all like 2 or 3 lines. I don't like that. Cool, but limiting my skills? It's more of a... How do I word that? I want to defend it because I think it's interesting. It's more of a spell... It's more of like spell preparation in D&D, right? Like when you play a cleric, you have access to your whole list. But you have to choose which ones you're going to prepare for that day. I guess you can do a list of cards and what abilities they can correspond to, but yeah. Otherwise, it sounds like a pain. Yeah. I agree. I'm interested. Again, this is very much a game meant for people who are already like super into 5e and specifically into Critical Role, who want to have the experiences that Matt Mercer introduces at his table, without needing to give money to Wizards of the Coast. That's literally all this is. And it's interesting. Right, but I make that choice. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. Every long rest, you choose which ability cards to prepare. It's not entirely random. It's in. I believe it's in the moment. Like if you choose to swap out an ability in the middle of an adventure, there is not necessarily a mechanical punishment, but it's like if you specifically want to try to get a different ability for this moment, there's a bit of randomization involved in it. You spend a resource to try to like re-roll the gacha. Yes. To the Yu-Gi-Oh kid, this sounds very cool, but for the adult, this sounds expensive. That's what I'm saying, you know? Mechanically, I like where they're going. It's whether or not it succeeds entirely depends on the marketing and how accessible the game ends up being. Currently, on the Daggerheart website, basically everything that's in the rules document is available for just anyone to look at and read, just like anyone can. They have all of the art and all the text for all of the ancestries and all the domains and all of the abilities. Like it's not like a lot of games where they give you the base resolution and then the actual like meat and potatoes you have to buy the game for. They're like, no. The more people have access to this information, the more people will buy the full game from us, which is very smart for them and very good for the consumer. So the trick will end up being, how realistic is it for someone who has not bought the game to still play the game at an affordable price point? We will just have to see. We will just have to see. I don't think I will buy the game. If someone said, hey, I have a copy of Daggerheart, do you want to play? I would absolutely go full in on it. Absolutely go full in on it. Which is definitely something, because as those of you who have followed me for a while know, I am a bit of a curmudgeon when it comes to other games, capital O, capital T, you know? Like, it would take some convincing for someone to get me to play a 5th edition game with them, right? It would take slightly less convincing for someone to get me to play a 4th edition game. And I definitely, most likely, oh, thank you for the salt, I guess. Hey, I'm being nice about this. I'm being realistic here. If someone invited me to a Pathfinder game, I'd say no thank you. If someone invited me to a Tales of the Valorant game, I'd say no thank you. If someone, so, you know, if someone, actually, you know what? If someone invited me to the MCDM, to an MCDM RPG session, I would also be like, maybe it is a loving salt. Well, okay, thank you. I appreciate your loving salt. But Daggerheart, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, no, I will give this a go. I will actually give this a go. So, you know, take that as you will. One thing I have learned, which should not have been something that I needed to learn, was that having an opinion, even slightly to the side of 5th edition and D&D, attracts people via the algorithm. I have got so many randos showing up to, like, I don't want to say be wrong. Hold on. Oh, man. Had I not immediately started laughing, that would have been a hell of a clip. I have had a lot of people who are trying to rules lawyer my discussions around game design, but also, like, they're misreading my discussions around game design and immediately going into a rules lawyer stance. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on Heroes of Cerulean when it arrives, says Tegan. Yeah, when it arrives. I backed that game. I'm the reason you backed that game. I'm the one who showed up and was like, Tegan, there is an indie Zelda-esque game on Kickstarter. And we both got a copy. And then because it's their first Kickstarter, bless their hearts, fulfillment has been a nightmare. Like, it's coming, but Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm going to have capital O opinions when that comes out. I think what I need to really do, especially now with this new audience I've accidentally accrued by covering the Daggerheart beta, I need to actually buckle down, go through all the books on my shelf, and do, like, full-on, here's what Gada thinks about this style reviews. Because apparently people like that. People like when people just have long-form opinions about a product regardless of whether or not they agree with it. So, you know, I have opinions. I have access to the internet. I should probably capitalize on that. Fulfillment is always a nightmare as far as, quote, things I've backed on Kickstarter have gone. Things that I've backed on Kickstarter haven't always been a nightmare, but also, like, not to call anybody out, I backed Fat Magic, a 5e setting guidebook, like 4 years ago, and it's only just now reaching the point where it may be shipped out to me sometime soon. You know? I have a microphone and a PNG tuber. I'm set. Fantastic. Let me scroll up because, let's see here. Robet did say something at me and I completely brushed over. I'm very sorry. I backed the Mega Tokyo game in like 2008. Jesus Christ. At that point, just write it off. Roba says, also, talking about the comparison with Powered by the Apocalypse, besides marketing as the Critical Role game, they might run the risk of going into a sort of uncanny valley between combat focus and story focus, and the design wouldn't come together, though I'd wait for an actual play to judge. See, that is something that I talk about in my Twitter review, where they do ape a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse design philosophy. And that's not, on the surface, a bad thing, right? If we want to talk about games that I personally, privately, my own opinion, please don't sue me, think are, quote, bad Powered by the Apocalypse design, Root immediately comes to mind. The Root role-playing game. Where instead of using Powered by the Apocalypse design to create a vibe by pushing players towards actions that match the genre they are trying to emulate, Root instead makes a unique move for every potential action. I'm gonna sue you so much. All right. Damn, I just got the Humble Bundle with Root and other stuff. I don't wanna like dissuade anyone from looking into Root, because there are a lot of people that really love Root, but also, and I say this with love, there's a lot of people that really love 5th edition, and I also think that 5th edition is not very well designed. My opinion of a thing should not mean that you don't interact with a piece of media, you know? Take my opinions as a person on the internet who does not work full-time in the games industry and thus is just a consumer with thoughts, and use my opinions to form your own opinions, maybe. Although, if you do buy a 5th edition book, don't tell me, I will be mad. But no, that's mostly a joke. But no, Root and other Powered by the Apocalypse games, I should say, take the design philosophy of Powered by the Apocalypse and they completely miss the point. They end up making rules for every feasible action that you could take, and that just overloads the game. A good Powered by the Apocalypse should very specifically know what sort of actions will contribute to the fulfillment of the genre emulation they're trying to go for, and then narrow it down to only being the usable content. Moves are, on the one hand, supposed to be fulfillment of actions a player expects to do in their genre, while also doubling as prompts to give players a framework to know, hey, in this genre, I am expected to do this. They don't have to, but the rules should double as a list of, oh, are you playing a post-apocalyptic game? Chances are you're going to drive a big car and fire a gun and run out of food every once in a while. So the moves should not only support those actions, it should also like subtly inform people that those actions are like what they're air quote supposed to be doing. Root, on the other hand, just kind of goes fucking wild with all the potential actions you could ever do and overloads the game. I think that's bad Powered by the Apocalypse design. Take your opinions and shove them in a sack. I know why sack is considered a sex-based term, but also, like, come on, man. Come on. Let me grab the beats from down here while I'm at it. The aping that Daggerheart does of Powered by the Apocalypse, I think is done fairly well. I think it's done fairly well. I do like that they take the concept of, like, principles and agendas as a way to, like, low-key say, or, like, high-key say, rather, in the text, hey, maybe don't be a dick at the table, maybe focus on telling a story with the mechanics. You know, they use the principles and agenda to be like, this is what this game is about. This is not what this game is about. Adjust your expectations accordingly. I respect that. I also really like how the death mechanic is organized like a Powered by the Apocalypse move, and it's very specifically player focused. So it's like, hey, when your character is going to die, straight up, when your character is going to die, here's a short list of options for a short list of mechanics for how you can choose to have your character go out, or, you know, do one last final gambit to try to keep them standing. That is very good. I really, really like that. That is good Powered by the Apocalypse design being slapped on top of a strategic war game sort of experience. Then in the GM section, which I have mentioned I think is very lacking, they throw the idea of like GM moves and soft and hard moves. They just throw it in there. And I don't think it's done very well. I don't think it's good Powered by the Apocalypse design specifically for the GM-facing mechanics, which is wild to me, because usually it's all one or all the other when it comes to a Powered by the Apocalypse hack. It either knows what it wants to be as a Powered by the Apocalypse hack, or it doesn't, and then it fumbles everything. For them to only fumble one half, it's very clear that the player-facing mechanics were given a lot more love and polish, because Daggerheart is the game where they're selling to people who should already know what Critical Role is and already have an internalized idea of what Matt Mercer's DM style is. You know what I mean? For someone coming from Critical Role who knows, yeah, I'm just going to try to do what Matt does. The loosey-goosey design. If you'll give me one moment, please. Chippy. For fuck's sake. Come here. Come here. I love my dog so much. However, he went to the vet yesterday. He got juiced. They juiced him. They took all his blood, so much of it. And he was not a good boy. They literally had to medically sedate him to to do his nails, which is I think it's funny because, like, I know Choopy as an individual. He's my pet. I live with him, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense that Choopy would fucking piss off the doctors so much that they say, you know what, you're going to sleep. You know what? we're not doing this. And just conking him the fuck out. Hello, Susie. Welcome in. What was I talking about? Oh, yes. Powered by the Apocalypse mechanics in Daggerheart specifically. So the entire, almost all of the mechanical weight of the GM is based on moves. There is a resource that is acquired from the player's rolling, which I'll talk about the 2d12 mechanic because I actually think they're onto something with the Hope and Fear die. I don't know if they'll be able to market it in a way that immediately is grokkable by their audience, but like I'm super down mechanically wise. I'm like, ooh, as a game designer, this is pretty damn good. All right, I see what you're cooking, guys. But there is, whenever a player rolls, there is a possibility that a resource will be given to the GM called Fear Points. And the GMs can spend Fear Points to make changes to the narrative and the world that aren't meant to fuck the players over, but they add complications. And just from that description, it's like, okay, so you're going to give me like a list of actions, of moves that can change the narrative, change the world, to give the players something new to encounter, and they're going to cost varying numbers of fear points. And yeah, there you go. And it doesn't really do that. Like, it kind of does. There is a list in there. This is really loud. Why is this one song just super loud? There we go. That's better. Ah, Edge. Yeah? Kind of. But yeah, so like the bones are there for a really interesting pick and choose, like, okay, well, I have X amount of points, I'm gonna spend it to do this. And it's like the solution, the options are kind of just like, shrug, you're the GM, you make it up. Which I'm like, no, you've essentially created a role-playing board game for the players. And I say that positively, I must stress. Like, I like the design where they're going with it. And then you turn around and you make it super loosey-goosey because you're afraid of scaring away veteran DMs who are used to having just absolute control over the reality their players experience. And it's like, no, you need to know what you are as a product before you introduce ways for people to break those rules. You know? You know? That's my opinion, at least. So in that manner, the aping of Powered by the Apocalypse is bad. I thrive on making things up as a DM. I also thrive on making things up as a DM. I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here, and we're going to go back to talking about 5th edition, and I would apologize if I were sorry. I spend a decent amount of time, I probably shouldn't, on D&D Reddit, just kind of seeing what people are doing in terms of homebrew, what questions they're having, listening to people say the most toe-curling nonsense, just the most uncomfortable things in a public forum, and marveling at how, wow, I could fucking never, okay? One person posted on Reddit, this is unrelated to my point, one person posted on Reddit something to the lines of like, hey, my DM died as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Is there any chance of my campaign continuing? And just closed Reddit and said, you know what? I don't think anything of value is going to be found on there today. I think I'm done. I think I'm done. That's your problem right there. Don't go on Reddit. Well, no, hold on. Let me get to my points. Hold on. Simmer down. Something that I see a lot of, especially new and young DMs do, is ask for permission to make changes to their fictional world. Because Dungeons & Dragons, and the Forgotten Realms specifically, have such a long and storied history...
Emotional damage!
Lol. Thanks, Blastflight. have such a long and storied personal history, a lot of DMs will show up to these places, be it, D&D Discords or Reddit or whatever, and ask permission or ask for the answer. People will show up and make long threads being like, hey, so my players are doing Lost Mines of Phandelver, and they're in the Goblin Mine, and they want to convince the goblins to befriend them. They want to do this, that, or the other. My players want to do something that the official D&D product does not have an immediate answer for me. Am I allowed to do X, Y, or Z? Now, I'm sure most people here, if you've played TTRPGs, know that the answer is yeah, it's a TTRPG. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But for a lot of people, especially young people or new DMs, the idea that there is not an objective, correct answer is foreign to them. Or, worse, the idea that if they choose the wrong answer, they'll somehow be playing the game incorrectly, and that scares them, is prevalent. So having guardrails, in the case of Daggerheart, right, they've created this system where there is push and pull from both player and GM side, having a concrete list of at least suggestions for actions that could be done in exchange for this economy of fear points will be very useful for what I can only assume are going to be a large number of new GMs, people who have never made the jump to actually playing 5th edition, but love listening to Matt Mercer run 5th edition, suddenly having a product they can buy that promises to allow them to have that same experience at home. Having those guardrails is going to be very important. Also, having text in there that says, once you get used to these guardrails, you have our permission to break these and go off wherever the fuck you want once you feel comfortable, is also very, very important. I must stress that I don't think every TTRPG needs that level of handholding. I think that the MCDM RPG, when it comes out, will have its own method of on-ramping DMs into playing it. And it'll be specifically for people who already know what a TTRPG is or have already watched Matt's videos. I don't think that Tales of the Valiant needs as harsh or as structured on-ramps for their game either, because it's not aimed at the market that Critical Role's game is going to be aimed at. I will say that kind of stuff is why I don't want to run official games. Your Doctor Who's, your Farscapes, your Star Treks. I don't want to screw up the lore. It's way more comfortable shooting from the hip from the get-go. That's something that I really actually also enjoy about Daggerheart. It definitely has an implied setting, but currently, none of that lore is straight up thrown at you. The closest I can imagine of world lore being thrown at you is the locations. There is a system for coming up with fantasy locations. Instead of how do I word this? Fantasy locations start by choosing a handful of tags and then building up a location from that. If you want to run a game with quantum ogres in it, which is a statement that I probably need to let me try it this way. If you want to run a game where the GM doesn't make the whole map and then guides the players through it like tourists, if you want to just invent a location because you think, you know what, yeah, there should be a town here. I don't have it prepared. Let's make it up real quick. The system in place for making locations could be used very quickly to just make something up on the fly. Alternatively, it's also a good system for preparing a location ahead of time, because you start off with a couple of tags and you flush it out from there. And I really like that. I unironically really like that. In the beta document, there are 6 to 7 different locations, and they're meant as examples, right? I don't know if they're actually references to existing Critical Role lore, any of the worlds that Matt and his pals have actually ventured through, or if it's all brand new. But it does very much seem like instead of saying, here's the lore of the world, they intend on just sprinkling world lore into the here's how you play the game, with the expectation of you're going to make your own game, and we're not going to force you to play in a Critical Role world. But also, like, there's a high chance if you're here, you want to play in a Critical Role world. So, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, which I really like. Honestly, the real TLDR that I probably could have said at the top of this stream was that Darrington Press knows its audience in a way that I've yet to see from any other third-party publisher. It is not design meant to apply to everyone. It is design that is meant to apply specifically to the audience they have cultivated in a smart way, in a smart and clever way that implies way more self-awareness than most TTRPGs companies on the market. Now we need a Farmer Gotta shotgun mod. Funny. Hold on. Where is my shotgun? I don't have a button for the shotgun. I very rarely use it. I really need to fix that. Would it be in TTS? Where's the gun? Nope. Don't know. Need to rock saw the creeper. Oh, man. Oh, well. So yeah, without reading the thread, I'm pretty sure that's like the overarching view of my opinion on the Daggerheart beta playtest. I am intrigued and delighted by the choices. It's not for me, but it revels in not being for me, if that makes sense. So, you know, good on Darrington Press. Really looking forward to reading the second pass. Not exactly world, but I do wonder how good the modules they release will be, especially for starter sets, etc. They would be pretty important for starting game masters. Darrington Press, and specifically Matt Mercer, is a bunch of storytellers. You know? I do imagine that their modules will be well-written adventures. I will enjoy reading their modules. My concern, as with the main document, is whether those modules will be easy to run for a new GM. That is my number one gripe right now with Darrington Press and the Daggerheart beta playtest. It's all GM side. It's all GM sided. Player sided, I have full faith in their ability to make an enjoyable role-playing game for the audience they've accrued. It's entirely about whether or not it'll be easy and fun for a game master to run. That's it. That's my only concern. I also imagine, because, you know, they are a company based on creating stories, I do imagine that more specific Critical Role fan content, or no, let me rephrase that. Content aimed directly at people who are fans of existing Critical Role stories and universes will exist. There will be setting guides for official worlds, and people will buy it, will lap it up, right? There will be books explicitly for this is how you make this character. This is how you would play fresh cut grass in the Daggerheart game, right? Like that's going to happen. It's going to be official. People will buy it in droves. It won't be useful to everyone, but it will 100% be the shit for specific people. And I can't even fault them for that. Like I mentioned earlier, like those domain decks, right? Having domain decks with specific exclusive art of known Critical Role IP is going to be on the docket very early, and it will be very profitable for their install base. Doesn't matter if they already have the regular generic decks from the main game. Exclusive decks with their characters on it is going to happen, and it's going to be a good moneymaker. And I say that with love. I say that without any sort of like capitalistic skepticism involved. Like, this is just a very good marketing choice. their decision not to shove all of that into the base game gives me hope that they are self-aware enough to know that the average user is not going to be one-to-one trying to remake Exandria or something. Those people will exist, and those people will have deep pockets, but it's not their core, you know? As much as people like to say that 5th edition is all about, homebrewing your own worlds, no, it's not. The base game is very much required to be run in a Forgotten Realms adjacent setting. You do not need to know the actual words, you don't need to memorize the characters, but from a game design standpoint, 5th edition is the Forgotten Realms game, with all of the uncomfortable parts of the Forgotten Realms codified into its mechanics. I say this not to shit on anyone's homebrew game, but just the reality of it is that the baseline you're starting from for your fantasy game is the Forgotten Realms, and then you pick and choose what you want to keep and what you want to pretend is not there. With Daggerheart, it's not starting from any specific fantasy setting. It has the suggestions and implications for things you would find in a Critical Role fantasy setting, but it's not necessarily as codified, which I appreciate. This will be a good game for people who like to homebrew their own shit. All right, that's enough rambling about a game that I'm not even going to buy today. I think we've been, talking for an hour? For 1 hour and 1 minute. We've been talking about the Daggerheart beta playtest. I spend 2 weeks away, and all I do when I come back is talk more about tabletop games. I shouldn't be surprised. I know who I am as a person, but also, Jesus Christ. Okay, so this does not moisten the area up here, but I could moisten this area here and call that good. After playing Planescape Torment and Pathfinder WOTR, I don't know what that stands for actually, I'm personally annoyed that so much interdimensional and weird stuff in the past of D&D has been ignored by 5e TBH. At the risk, Moist. Thank you, Blastflight, for your ever important contribution to that conversation. Moist. I don't want to get into a conversation. Wrath of the Righteous. All right, thank you. I don't want to talk about how much Wizards of the Coast bumbled Spelljammer. Like, straight up, I'm putting my foot down and saying I don't want to talk about it, other than they absolutely shot themselves in the foot with how bad their Spelljammer book was, and it's mind-boggling. You know? It's 5th edition is the Forgotten Realms game, and yet they seem to want to shy away from the wild shit that exists in their settings. And it's like, I don't know. It's very much the result of game design by committee, as opposed to game design by people who understand their audience. Not to say that there isn't anyone at Wizards of the Coast who isn't fully aware of what 5th edition players want and what D&D fans want. It's just the reality. The best version of Spelljammer is the Idle Champions game. Damn, I can't even argue with that. I haven't even played the Idle Champions game, and I can agree with you on that. It's just, late stage capitalism, really. Late stage capitalism is really what it is. Unrelated to 5th edition and Daggerheart, these last 2 weeks, I've also got Spelljammer, more like Smelljammer. Ayo! Ayo! Spelljammer is like the Treasure Planet Kingdom Hearts supplement for Dungeons & Dragons. And you would have thought that would have been a slam fucking dump on that, sorry, slam dunk, not dump, on the premise alone. And yet, space clowns, giant space hamsters, giant space hamsters. What the fuck, man? How did you fuck that up? I don't know. It's whatever. Don't talk to me about Spelljammer. Yeah, no, we're actually pointedly not talking about Spelljammer, aside from how they fucked it up. That's all. That's it. That's all we're talking about. They fucked it up, and we're not going to go any further into it. I don't want to. It's fine. We're specifically talking about setting and when to or when not to leverage it. Official settings specifically. Ed Greenwood posts about drow breast milk, and they can't even do Spelljammer. Fuck me. God damn. Listen, I respect Ed Greenwood. Despite it all, I respect Ed Greenwood. I don't think his horny setting should have become the standard for an entire product, but I can still respect the man. I can still respect the man for sticking to his guns. He knows what he's about, and I can't be mad at him about it. God damn. Anyway. Honestly, not sure how much of it is just him fucking with people at this point. As someone who has read some of the early drow works based off of Ed Greenwood stuff, I don't know. Any weird fetish content he puts into his fantasy world is 100% unironic. That man is living his best life. I'd like to hear less about it. However, he is still living his best life. And frankly, if only all of us could be so free, you know? If only the rest of us could be so unshackled from our chains as Ed fucking Greenwood. Bless his fucking heart. All right, so I've done all the wheat, I've done all the beets, I've done all the carrots, so I think it's just the potatoes left. People do ask about it, they do. People ask about it. I heard a clucking sound, and like a chicken scream in the distance, and I wasn't sure if it was my in-game sound effects or if it was the chickens from the neighbors. It was the chickens from the neighbors. It just took me a second. That was what the pause was about. I was like listening hard, like, am I hearing shit? No, it's the neighbor's chickens. It's the neighbor's chickens. It's really interesting to me to look at modern Wizards of the Coast and their game products, specifically 5th edition, and see what of D&D's illustrious past Wizards is ashamed of and what it unabashedly is not ashamed of, you know? Like, the horny drow stuff, it wants nothing to do with that. It's like, nah, no, we're gonna just kind of glaze over that. Like, it's still there. We haven't removed it, but we're just not gonna bring attention to it, you know? And then they do shit like the Hadozi, where they're like, oh yeah, racist implications of people of color? We'll definitely keep that in. The horny stuff? No. Credit card companies should not have control as they do. They absolutely should not. They absolutely should not. Unfortunately, talking about legislation involving credit card companies just makes it really depressing. So we're actually going to move on from that topic specifically. Not to like shut you down or anything, but like, I've been doom scrolling for the last 2 weeks, so I think I've had my fill for now. Racism is more PG than sex. Yeah, hands down. It's wild, but hands down, that just straight up is the reality. Jesus Christ. Let's see. Something that I have been getting into, which is surprising if you've met me, I've been reading a lot of OSR stuff recently, and actually finding stuff that I enjoy. Yeah, if anyone needs me, I'll be in the Angry Dome. Picks you up, gives you a hug, pats you on the head. All the affections sent your way, Sheila. The world is a fucking nightmare right now. Yes, I am excited for you to be reading OSR. I've dabbled in OSR stuff before, but mostly as a... How do I word this? The reality of OSR content is that OSR has unfortunately become a Nazi bar, right? You know that old story where if you don't actively tell the Nazis to fuck off, your bar will become the place where Nazis are? That's what OSR is, very much so. And it's something that a lot of people in this space have been struggling with, specifically since the fall of Google+. Google+ was, for most of the 2010s, and probably earlier, honestly, I don't know. I wasn't there for it. Sort of a golden mecca for OSR design, where people would share their thoughts and opinions in an easily referenceable blog format to allow the scene to evolve and grow. And then Google Plus shut down, and it was like the burning of the Library of Alexandria. I wasn't there for that. However, I have heard a lot of people. Okay, hold on. Robes says, I only heard of the Flame Princess stuff. Damn. So that's kind of the thing. I heard a lot about shit like Lamentations of the Flame Princess, which is not great. I heard about Burning Wheel and the sexual content that the creator put into spaces where it wasn't supposed to be. I've only ever heard about the bad parts of OSR gaming, specifically because I entered game design scenes on Twitter around 2020, which is when the lyric game movement was really starting to take off, which was very much like, I don't want to say anything too definitive about lyric games, because part of the point of lyric games is there is no definitive description of a lyric game, you know? It's like trying to describe a color to somebody. But a lot of lyric game philosophy came out of sort of a putting your foot down, digging your heels in rejection of standard Dungeons & Dragons design, of standard traditional gaming design. It was very much a how fast and how hard can we push games in the opposite direction? Which is not bad, but it does mean if that was what you started with, you will come into the game design space thinking, oh, the things that these games are rebelling against are bad, capital B bad, which is not ideal for a new game designer at all. I came in with preconceptions without anyone actively trying to give me those preconceptions. You know what I mean? So I avoided OSR content like the plague. And to be fair to past me, a lot of OSR content, especially from the first couple of waves of it, back when it was very much a strive to return to a pre-3rd edition era of D&D specifically, does very much read like they've taken the racism out of our games, and therefore we must unwoke our role-playing. Like that's what a lot of OSR content is. A regressive return to content that I personally want nothing to do with. So there is a lot of wading into that. And as a result, there's a lot of people in the modern scene who still think of it and treat it as that. There is still a lot of really racist shit with OSR slapped on it, just because of the reality of OSR content being based on that ye old tradition of gaming where racism, sexism, and sexual assault was just assumed to be okay. Yep, says Sheila, you're totally justified in your hesitance. Yes, new TSR. Yeah. We have concepts like Sword Dream, NSR, adventure games, full quote, where people who still find value in the design philosophy of these games from a mechanical standpoint try to distance themselves from the parts that are just horrible. You know, just straight up like, no. This is socially unacceptable and we don't want it. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, OSR is still the search engine optimized term for finding content that you are looking for, even if a lot of it is gross. So all of these attempts to distance themselves, pardon me, to distance themselves from the gross shit will inevitably be dragged back in. All of this is to say that I was terribly hesitant for a very long time as a direct result of those realities. And now that I'm like delving into it, I'm finding things that I like, not even despite those caveats. Not even like, yeah, the game's racist, but I like it. I'm finding like, oh, actually, hold on. This designer agrees with me that racism is bad, and they're making content for this game design philosophy that doesn't purposefully fall into the traps of replicating those things. So, new school renaissance / revival. The thing about NSR and the thing about OSR is that nobody can agree what it means. There are multiple differing opinions, and that's good. That is a feature, not a bug. It is a playground where people use a shared terminology for everything but the name. And so everyone has their own unique... Yes, darling?
When are you going to stop talking about this?
What do you mean?
I love you.
I love you too. This is my stream, and I can talk about game design if I want to. If you're bored, you can go put on an audiobook. Would you like my Bluetooth headphones?
No, I want a kiss.
No, you want a kiss? Okay, I'll give you a kiss. Mwah. I love you very much. This is what people pay me for, darling. They came here knowing this. Isn't that right, everyone?
Medical bills, 3 days to go.
Listen, I'll have to refresh it. Beautiful wife, this is the Cobble Pod. This is explicitly where people come to not watch me play Minecraft, but listen to me play Minecraft while I talk about literally anything but Minecraft. I gotta blow my nose. Where's the tissues? You talk to them for a second. They are enabling me, it's true.
Hello, everybody. Would you like a life update from me?
Uh-oh. There's a delay, so yes.
Okay. So as you know, me and Derek had the plague. Or Gata had the plague, sorry.
You're fine. Walk closer to the mic.
Me and Gata had the plague. But I have been experiencing some back pain again. So I went to the doctor. And they did a CT.
What's a CT scan?
No
CT
Minecraft.
scan is...
We need more wife.
No
Yes,
Minecraft,
yes.
we need more wife, yes.
More
Wife, more wife. A CT is a soft tissue imaging, and it also shows bone. It's not as good as an MRI. It's better for things like the brain, but I have hardware.
Does the C in CT stand for soft?
That doesn't make any sense.
Right, that's why I'm asking. What does the C stand for?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I can look it up real quick.
Nah, don't worry about it. I just thought, you know. Whoops.
Papa, I
Anyway,
have
they
a fun
found
fact
mass
I would
on the
like to
left
tell
lateral
you.
aspect of my spine. They
Did
don't
you
know
kn-
what it is. So I'm having a myelogram done on Tuesday,
Uh-huh.
which is where they do another CT, but they give me an epidural with contrast put into my spinal fluid to see what the mass is pressing on. Because they think that's what's causing my pain.
And they do believe that the mass... Oh my god, game, please. Let me play. Alright. They don't believe the mass is cancerous currently.
Correct.
Right. They believe it is just
Just
scar
scar
tissue
tissue.
from your repeated surgery.
Yes, they
That is
believe.
important. People hear a mass and they immediately think, fuck, beautiful wife is done for. I do want to assure people that no, that's not what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, we're mostly just dealing with the pain. It is still pretty scary to me, but
Yeah. like, it hasn't been ruled out that it's something very bad, but it's not like we're bracing for the worst or anything.
But that's my life update. I quit my second job.
You did! And I'm so happy! Fuck those people!
I would be careful what you say. I'm worried that they might see this.
Oh, okay. Well, no. If they don't know that I, your husband, dislike that you worked for them for as long as they did, that's on them. That's on them. I'm not gonna call out any individuals, but like, I'm glad you are no longer working for that company.
Yeah. I will probably never work for a corporate again.
Yeah, no. Not if you can help it.
Yeah. Because it was a miserable experience.
Mm-hmm.
8 years of my life just... I mean, I did gain a lot of knowledge, but like 8 years of my life just...
Mm-mm. Years of academy training wasted.
But so I'm still working full time at my other job, which is the veterinary orthopedic place.
The
Which
doggy foot doctor.
not foot doctor. We don't really we deal with foot, but it's more like knees and hips.
Oh, okay.
And I really like it there. And yesterday it was kind of slow because it was a surgery day, so I work up front. And my coworker was like, "Let's watch Up because it's a really cute movie." And I was like, "Oh my
no.
god."
God, it would be a doggy paw doctor. Well, la-di-da. Excuse me.
So we watched Up, and we're both crying, and the phone rings.
Oh no.
The Chunker Rehabilitation Center. We do that. We do weight management. Like, we help dogs lose weight using an underwater treadmill.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I love those.
Yes, we have an underwater treadmill, and when I get to assist in rehabilitation, that's usually where I'm at.
When, my favorite brand of, like, YouTube video or TikTok is, like, ancient-ass dogs who refuse to play along with the treadmill. And just, like, are floating in the water, just like, no, this is fine.
Yeah, sometimes they'll float or they'll try to swim, but we make sure that the water's not tall enough for them to swim. We want them to walk. And, I mean, usually they do pretty good. We give them peanut butter and cream cheese and Cheerios, like, things to get them moving.
To motivate.
Yes, and it's so cute, and a lot of our clients love it so much.
It's adorable.
It is adorable. And then we have physical therapy, which is like exactly what you think it is. It's like physical therapy for people. We have specialty massages.
Oh.
We do acupuncture. It's a really cool. It's honestly, it's amazing. Like, dogs come in unable to walk, and then they get their acupuncture, and they come out able to walk.
Amazing.
But yeah, we also do like diet plans, things like that. And I'm like, "Hey, doctor,
So and so.
yeah, can you help me out?" And they're like, "No." I'm uncomfortable with humans. Humans are icky.
Humans are icky. Have you seen a human?
Whoa, how did you do that?
What do you mean?
Put all that stuff in the box at once.
Oh, so this isn't even a mod. So if you go into an inventory and you press shift and double click, well, you gotta have an item on it. All of the same item will go into whatever the inventory.
Is that new?
I mean, you stopped playing in 1.710, so maybe, but I don't think so. I'm pretty certain that this has been in Minecraft for a while. Beautiful wife really said, "I got a husband. I don't need to play more Minecraft. It's fine."
Yeah, it doesn't help that I don't have a computer that'll support it. So.
Yeah.
And plus, all I want
You and me both, Robe. You and me both.
All I want to do is build a stupid little house and push our beds together.
Remember when we first started flirting in Minecraft, and it was shit like the group would be the group of friends would like be doing a build project, and we'd be off in the back silently like throwing Minecraft flowers at each other, just quietly, just like, "Yeah, I like you," and everyone was like, "God damn it, just kiss already!" Ugh.
Yes.
Ah, memories.
Oh, when we were young.
Oh, when we were young, stupid.
The good news is we're still in love.
We're very much so, yes.
Um,
Gotta let beautiful wife play Minecraft. She could if she wanted to. I wouldn't stop her. Scoot over.
let's see, what else is new? So I think last time we talked, I was talking about this book.
Yes. What book were you reading at that
It was
point?
called The Book of Doors,
Oh yeah, you
and
were
it made
crying
me
about it.
cry a lot.
Uh-huh.
It was a very good book, and I was reading it for book club, and we actually got to live chat the author on Instagram during book club.
Amazing.
I rated it pretty high. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, which is high for me,
Right.
because I give almost all books 3s. And he answered some questions for us. We got to see his cute dogs.
Amazing.
It was a really cool experience, and it was a really good book. But for this month's book club, we are picking a book called An Education in Malice, which is dark academia, and it's by S.T. Gibson, which is an auto-buy author for me. S.T. Gibson, they wrote A Dowry of Blood,
Okay.
which was one of my first book club books that Mimi actually suggested, and it was about Dracula's wife, and it was written in the same style as Dracula, like letters.
Mm-hmm.
She was writing letters to him. What is he
Can you
doing?
pick him up?
What? I
with
can't.
him? Okay. Brisket has decided to make himself known, and he's just pushing past everything. He doesn't give a shit. Are you gonna gargoyle, buddy? Yeah, he wants to gargoyle. That's what it is. All right. He's on top of the computer tower now, where he wants to be. Anyway, A Dowry of Blood.
Yes. So I gave that book 5 stars. So if you haven't read it, it's really short and it's really good. And then this one is shorter too. It's only the audiobook is only like 9 hours. Speaking of Dracula, ooh.
Gotta you take a picture right now? Okay. I'll take a picture of Brisket gargoyling. He's laid down, so it's less of a he's standing on top of it, and oh, he gave a little squint too. What a good boy. Show the cat gargoyle. Okay, I'll put it in the Discord. Which by the way, Henbert, if you wouldn't.
If you join our community
When did they,
Discord, everybody
so-
will yell
oh.
yee-haw and jangle cowbells at you. I'm told this is meant to be a perk, but honestly, it sounds horrific. Subs have an exclusive channel to see works in progress before anyone else.
Alright, there we go. When did they add a wife to Dracula? I'm pretty certain he had multiple wives in the original book.
He did. He had 3.
He had 3 of them. 3 of them. Wow.
And so in this version of Dracula, they talk about one of his wives, they talk about 2 of his wives, and they talk about one of his male lovers. Which is very interesting. I don't know, it was so good. And then it made me want to read Dracula, so I did read Dracula, and I hated Dracula.
It's very dated.
I listened to the audiobook, and the narrator was great, but I just wasn't very interested in the story. So,
I mean, when you're a baron or count or other landed gentry, you've got the resources to support your whole polycool. Yeah, Dracula was living the millennial cottagecore life before any of us. Sure, it required selling their soul to, like, the devil or whatever, but that's just capitalism, my boy. You know?
also, I think one of the things that I can't forget about Dracula is how, his name was Jonathan, I think.
Yeah?
No, not Dracula's name.
Right.
Jonathan, our main narrator.
Right.
He watched Dracula crawl up the building, and he like talked about how his fingers and toes gripped the stones and how he looked like a lizard. And like I can't get that out of my brain.
I have not read all of Dracula, mind you. I've read bits and pieces of it. It's something that I want to experience, but also don't have really the drive to. I think my absolute favorite part is that at some level, John has experienced a shit ton of wackadoo stuff And because it was the birth of the horror genre, his first thought wasn't, I must be in a horror narrative. It's, damn, that spicy chicken really did a number on me. I'm seeing some weird ass shit because of this spicy ass chicken that I ate. And it's like, oh, honey. Oh, darling.
You know what the spice was?
What was the spice, honey?
Paprika!
It was paprika.
Why is there a pumpkin under there?
That is a jack-o'-lantern. It's a light source.
Oh.
Because they're easy to produce and they can't be destroyed by water. Yes, that's how I light all my fields.
I don't know. It was just I don't know. I gave Dracula two stars.
On some level, it's justified genre ignorance. What a wild spice. John's so fucking white he can't handle. Well, you know what? I say that, but I also recently put paprika into a dish, and I also was like, damn, I'm too white for this. So, you know, I can't give John too much shit. Dracula, Frankenstein, like all of those, like, I don't want to call them old, but like the origin points of the genre, like I respect them because they're old, but I also have to go into them reading them as a historical oddity. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, Dracula's great, I love it so much. It's more like I've read it because it was formative to more modern works, but like, obviously, damn, I love paprika and curry on stuff. Italians really aren't white. I'm very sorry. No, I am, my ancestry is French Canadian, specifically North American French Canadian. My ancestor boiled everything. I have no tolerance.
Tell them about
for spice.
Touchier pie.
Touchier pie. Oh my god. All right, I'm pulling the mic back for this. So my favorite family recipe is called Touchier pie, and it is a meat pie, which is like turkey, chicken, ground beef, and pork, and you boil the meat. And you boil the meat so much, you boil it so much that it becomes a flavorless meat paste. And once you have made the flavorless meat paste from boiling all of those dead animals together for hours, you then add so much salt that if you think, am I adding too much salt to this? No, you keep adding salt. You salt the shit out of the flavorless meat paste. And once you've done that, you then bake it in a pie and cover it with ketchup. That sounds horrible. No, that's just French Canadian cuisine, baby. And oh my god, do I miss my Nana's Touchier pie. Ah, it takes... Sometimes my toothpaste makes me cough. Points at Susie. British in chat. British in chat. Oh man.
So let me tell you guys, when I met Gata for the first time, I flew up to Maine to meet him. I starved. I was so hungry.
She unironically starved.
The food was not good. Like the only time that we had good food was when we went on this really fancy date to this restaurant, and it was still mediocre food. It was a steak and it was shrimp stuffed with lobster. And the shrimp were okay and the lobster was okay. I'm not a lobster person, so like, and the steak was flavorless, but it was cooked medium rare, which I like. But like, oh my god, I was so hungry. Even like, we went to this restaurant and I was like, can I have sweet tea? And she's like, I can give you unsweet tea and packets of sugar. And I was like, what is that? And then we went to this breakfast place and I was like, oh my god, they have grits, thank god. They put the bigger crustacean
inside the smaller crustacean.
Yes.
That's how you know it's high society food. They're creative. They think of weird shit like that normies could never.
And I was like, oh, thank God they have grits, and they were horrible.
Yeah.
I should have known better. And then their biscuits and gravy, not good, not good. I love you so much.
I know you do. We're never going back to Maine. It's okay, honey.
We can go back to Maine one day, but like
We gotta
Maine-
bring our own food.
You're letting me cook. And then Stinky Man came here, and I showed him the flavors of the South.
Yes. The first time that I had a Publix submarine sandwich, I took a bite and went, "Oh, I understand now." And she goes, "Yeah." I go, "Oh, I fully understand now." She goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "You eat this all the time?" She goes, "Yep." And I'm like, "Oh, man." God, I had a flavor for the first time. I cried.
Okay, our very first date.
Don't talk about our first date.
God, it took me.
Don't be mean to me.
Took me to Subway.
It was the fanciest restaurant in town.
It was horrible.
I'm sorry.
I never had Subway before.
I'm sorry. It was the fanciest.
And like, okay,
It was that or Olive Garden, and Olive Garden was on the other side of the city.
I'd rather have gone to Olive Garden.
We would have had to walk.
But as someone,
Listen.
their Denny's
Yes.
was pretty fancy.
Was it now?
Their Denny's was pretty fancy.
The Denny's was pretty fancy because it was newly built. I'm sending you to Rocky for food crimes. It was a decade ago. Cut little me some slack. Hey, I was actively homeless, okay? I was doing my best.
Anyway,
Deeply disturbing, God
Let the
Lord.
wife cook. Let the wife cook. Gada?
Oh my
Subway
God.
was the
So-
fancy.
where we live, we have this grocery store called Publix,
Uh-huh.
and they're pretty common in the South.
Love Publix.
And they make the best subs.
They really
and
do.
They do chicken tender subs. I don't know. If you've never had a pub sub, you need to try one at least once in your life. They're delicious.
Yes.
So that's why when Gada came to Florida, I was like, pub sub time.
Uh-huh.
And now every once in a while we go on a date to the same park that he proposed to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we get pub subs and we lay a blanket down and we just reminisce.
Uh-huh. It's very cute and very gay.
It is very cute and very gay.
Actually, okay, so when I proposed to my wife, it wasn't even a question. She planned it out. It was an unspoken thing that we were going to get married, but she still wanted to have like the experience of being proposed to, which was fine. So we planned out the date. We got dressed up. We went and we got pub subs. We had a picnic in the park. I drank a bottle of Coke. We slow danced in a gazebo. Like every moment of it was pre-planned by the pair of us. Oh, server's restarting, which is probably fine. We should be stopping in like 10 minutes or so I can go to work. So, you know, we prepared, and that means that we can just recreate that date whenever we want. Gada, you didn't even plan the proposal? I don't wear the pants in this relationship. Beautiful wife knew what she wanted and she got it. And I have no qualms with giving it to her whatsoever. No. It's not a lazy, like, I did whatever kind of thing. No, it's like she explicitly said, hey, I want this to happen. And I said, sure. Sounds good to me.
Why can't you connect?
The server's restarting.
Oh.
It's a scheduled restart every day to keep the thing from overloading and exploding on us.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, because I stream at like ass o'clock in the morning for everyone else, it happens during the time that it should be doing an update. So, there we go.
You're hungry.
I am hungry, but not hungry enough to do anything about it. I'm looking for a bucket. Yes, beautiful wife wears the pants, I wear the suspenders, and between the two of us, we keep our bits covered. Is that a good analog for our relationship?
Oh my god.
No? Okay. Never mind. She's vetoing that. I'll figure something else
What are
out.
you walking to?
The giant cube which we worship and sacrifice people to?
Is this that giant cube you built?
Oh yeah. 64 by 64 solid cobblestone. It took us like 8 months to complete. And we did nothing else afterwards. Where the fuckets are my buckets? Cube. I'm gonna grab this, and this because it goes into my. I looked at that and went, "That's raw chicken." No, it is not.
Raw iron.
Yes. Instead of dropping the cubes, they now drop a raw form, which can be combined or smelted into... That's not true, we built an apiary. That is true. We have done some things. Where the fuck are my buckets? Ah, here we go. Literally the last chest I could possibly have checked. All right.
What do you need bucket for?
I need to fix some farmland. We built an auto farm with some slaves.
I'm sorry?
And I need it's just roll with it, honey. Just roll with it. And in order to get them to the location, I had to dig through my farmland to like drag them there. So I have to fix that now. You need to organize your stuff better. Yes, that is the stream. That is every Minecraft stream I have ever done ever. Even when I had an automatic redstone-based sorting system, that was still the reality we had to deal with. First time I see the stream, how do you manage your Minecraft dystopia? Not well. Not well. So, okay, so the villagers all live over here. All right? And this is where I decided to build the automatic villager farm. I've never claimed to be a smart man. You know?
I think you're smart, honey.
No, honey, I have a thick ass and good opinions about game design, but never have I said I'm smart.
Well, I'm saying you're...
Hello, Maniac for Bricks. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sadly, there is no Lego, but Minecraft is close enough to it, right? We're gonna roll with that. We're gonna roll with that. Welcome in. All right. I need to grab more than one bucket of water. So I'm just gonna fill all these up, I guess. Oh, did I broke it. I broke it. I have to wait for it to refill. Oh, I really broke it. Oops. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Tegan says, I'm going to sort your chests. You say that threateningly, but like, yeah. Same energy as Susie being like, let me on the server, gotta. Let me on the server. In a different timeline, Lego made Minecraft. Technically, I'm pretty sure at one point, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I can just do this. At one point, I'm pretty sure there was a Lego-based Minecraft, not ripoff, that has negative connotations, but like inspired property. They couldn't figure out how to make it make money. So that was kind of the end of that. Oh, shit. I want potatoes here, not wheat. There we go.
Potato, potato, potato.
Potato,
this
potato.
For you.
This spud's for you. I love you so much. Did you know that?
I love you.
I love you so much. Oh, you precious creature.
Do you know what that's from?
It's from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, yes. And you've been quoting it ever since I've met you.
It was such a cute little scene.
It was very cute. I love Beautiful. I love her too. Hey guys, I love my beautiful wife. Beautiful wife co-stream when? I mean, this is kind of it. This is kind of it. All right. Do I have any more grown potatoes that I can use? Down there is. Down there is. Grab this. There we go. There we go. Oh, whoops.
Ate the potato raw.
I didn't mean to eat it raw. I'm sorry. 2, 3. I'll just leave this be for right now. All right, let's go dump our excess into the Bone Mealinator 9000, which needs to be expanded.
What that does?
Yes, anything that goes in this chest is automatically put through this and then comes down here to become bone meal, of which I have a lot. How do you know so much about game design? Do you have any recommendations for like books or other material? That's actually a really good question. Not because I have an answer, but because I surprisingly do not have any sort of like list. Mostly I just have opinions from things that I've read and opinions that I've gleaned from other people on the internet, and I just regurgitate them. I don't actually have like a list or anything for people who are new to game design to like follow in my footsteps, and I should. That's a good idea. I need to create my own, like, Appendix N. I think the quickest and most accessible way, the thing that I can, like, point you towards, isn't actually about game design. It's entirely about running Dungeons and Dragons, and it is Matt Colville's Running the Game series. Matt Colville, I find, other people bounce off his stuff. Matt Colville's videos, I find, are the most digestible collection of advice about running a specific style of war game, while also not being like, this is the only way to play games. The advice that is given is actionable and based by real life experience from Matt himself. And he's a very good storyteller. So I like listening to him talk about any given subject, even stuff that I'm not interested in. I once listened to the man talk about how much he loves Dune, and he made it interesting to someone who does not give a shit about Dune. He ended up making his story about a story be about stories and how Dune chooses to tell its story. And it was just very, very good. So definitely Matt Colville's video series. You can listen to it like a podcast, even though it is a series of YouTube videos, just because his voice is just very good. I like it. From there, I'd have to think about where I want to send you off next. Because there's my adventures. There's the path that I took as a designer, and then there's the path that I think people should take as a designer. You know, I don't think that my experience is the best experience. Honestly, I say my experience probably isn't the best experience. I spent a lot of time being drowned. Yes, Tegan specifically. Unfortunately, I didn't find Matt stuff particularly helpful. I need to admit something, and this should not be a surprise to anyone who knows me. I spent the early 2020s, I say as though we're not still in them, like the first couple years of the 2020s, being very zealous about my opinions on game design. I have mellowed out significantly. I let myself become absorbed by the Twitter hate engine, and that was the extent of my experience. Being angry about things on Twitter was where I cut my teeth on game design. And I will admit, it was not a healthy way to do so. Frankly, very unhealthy, very bad. I should not have done that. Hello, my slaves. Hello, my villager farmers. All right, they're still working fine. Woo! And look at all this! I mean, it's kind of nothing to, that's not really comparable to what I am producing with my own farms, considering we just filled 2 double chests full of potatoes. But for just 2 guys randomly throwing food at a third guy, this is not bad. This is not bad at all. Definitely a good proof of concept. I really should have written down how many crops we had left so I can verify how many was produced in the hour and 48 minutes this chunk has been loaded. But yeah, not bad. Not bad. I would not want anyone to experience game design the same way that I did. A lot of my 5e hate comes from being dunked like a chicken nugget into the sweet and slimy sauce of Twitter discourse. I'm sorry, just as I wrote that, I got called to do something. Can you give me a TLDR? Also, can't you use the villagers to make baby villagers and make more? Yes, but it's not efficient. It will result. Okay, we're going back to the farmer pit so I can explain how it works. So there is a mechanic wherein if a farmer villager that has a food source in its inventory locates another villager that is without food in their inventory, because they do consume food for hunger to regain health, they will throw food at that less fortunate villager. The way this method works is that there are hopper chests. There are hopper chest walls on either side of this villager in particular. So because the hopper chests are an entity, the farmer villagers can see the Fletcher villager. They know he's here. They know he needs food. They try to throw food at it, and almost all of the food is intercepted by these hopper carts and brought into this chest, right? If, for some reason, there was more than one villager inside... Thank you for the subscription, Raggles. You've been subscribed for exactly 24 months, 2 whole years of Raglan, which has resulted in a ridiculous amount of veg being spawned and also 24 Prince Raglan chickens appearing over my head. You get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell. Thank you. Thank you so much, Raggles. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Welcome in. But yeah, if there were more than one farmer villager in this cube here, they would actually spend most of their time throwing food at each other and not tossing them into the system. So that would make it significantly less efficient. What I could do is actually stack up multiple layers of farm and have it all flow down direct. Thank you so much, Susie, for subscribing for 53 months and absolutely decimating my stream with both veg and chickens. They are everywhere. I didn't know I could do that. You get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You spawned in so many chickens that a number of them died because they were crushed by other chickens as they were spawned in. And now I'm going to have Prince Raglan and Detective Pigeon chickens just everywhere. Just all over the fucking place. I have to go sleep. Happy Easter. Thank you. Thank you, Susie. I appreciate it. Chicken apocalypse. I need to adjust the spawning so that instead of spawning all of the chickens in the same location immediately, it has a small delay. So, oh, thank you so much for the bits. You spawned a shit ton of emeralds, 1 emerald per bit. So that's 100 Prince Raglan Emerdudes. Thank you so much. I need to adjust that. So it has a minor millisecond delay, so it doesn't try to spawn all the chickens into the exact same spot, because then it kills a chunk of them. You guys are literally members of the Minecraft server. We've spoken about this. There we go. I'm gonna put that in here and we'll go from there. All right, to actually finish the question that I was asked, by the way, is the best advice I can give you to get started in game design is to watch Matt Colville's Running the Game videos. It is primarily DM advice for running D&D, but because he himself is a game designer, you will learn a lot about the math of D&D. And from there, you can then extrapolate what you know about 5th edition. Oh my God, there's just so many chickens. Hi, Neb. Thank you so much for the subscription. Oh, hold on. Blastflight gifted it to Neb. Neb's not actually here. Thank you, Blastflight. We were actually going to get a hype train? A hype train has started. Fantastic. Amazing. I love it. Thank you for giving the gift sub. It doesn't register your name for gift subs, unfortunately. But you get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for your generosity. I appreciate it. Oh, we're still getting veg. We're still getting veg. There's still so much veg. You can't see shit. There we go. Get dunked on. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I got a whole bunch. You gave me 100 bits. Thank you. There's just more veg. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. I can't believe it. Oh, my God. It won't stop. Can't stop. Won't stop. It actually spawns like 20 individual veg per month that the individual has been subscribed. This is a problem for people who have been following me for 5 years because every time they do something, it just showers me. We're going to be crushed under these crops. Oh my God. Ah! And it's still going. And it's still fucking going. Howdy, Gata. Good to see ya. Hi, Ren. Welcome in. We are being showered by veg. There's just so much veg, so many crops, just fucking everywhere. Holy shit. Welcome in, welcome in. I've only been subbed for 4 months. You've only been subbed for 4 months, but you gave a gift sub to Nebula, who's been around for years. So, oh, shit. Well, all right. Thank you for the sub, Ren. Thank you so much. Oh no, there's gonna be even more veg and even more chickens. You get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell. Thank you. Thank you, 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 thank you.
Thanks for the lurk, Maniac the Viewer. We're glad you're here.
And thank you for the lurk, Maniac the Viewer. Welcome in, welcome in. I'm afraid to go into my house. If someone else subs, I'm gonna have a shit ton of chickens just in my house. But that's where my emeralds go, and I need to put the emer dudes in there. So, oh well. See, what did I say? What did I say? Thank you so much for even more bits. Oh my God, I have so many emeralds. I have so many emeralds. Okay, quick, shove them in the emeralds chest. I'm gonna have to make a bank. You know what? That's actually not a bad build idea. I'm going to have to put a bank with all the emeralds that people have given me. A bit bank. A bit. We could build a giant piggy bank and put all of the emeralds from my viewers in there. Oh my God. That's such a good idea. Just a massive piggy bank on the horizon. Everyone is spamming tidy up and it's not helping. It's still going. A choopy bank. He is a little piggy. A Minecraft piggy bank. Exactly. Exactly. Is the veg gonna stop anytime soon? This is actually unironically a problem, I think. What is it even reacting to? Everyone's just spamming tidy up. And it's not helping. It's gotta stop eventually, right, guys? Look what you've done to me in particular. Tegan, my mod, is like, Gata, why? Gata, please. Gata, this is a nightmare. This is an absolute nightmare. I have to have coal. Oh, there it is. There we go. Just everyone spamming. Oh no, Raglan's adding extra veg to the pile. Raglan, no. Raglan, no. Gata, I've asked you to adjust this literally, okay? Like 9 times. I'll definitely remember the 10th time. I promise. I promise. Well, good news, bad news, everyone. It is unfortunately time for me to go get ready for my day job. So we are going to have to end the stream here. Keep fighting. Keep fighting against that veg. Keep going. You got it. Keep up the good fight, everyone. I believe in you. Who do I know who's streaming right now? Nobody I know is actively online, but Shenpai is currently playing. Such strong support. I got a level 1 hype train, 4 subs, 300 bits. Thank you guys so much for your support and generosity. I appreciate you guys very much. We're gonna send you over to Shenpai, who's playing Honkai Star Rail, which definitely is not a bad idea to convince everyone to start gambling. You want to vent the veg. The fight was strong. but we prevailed. We won the war. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow for some Sonic CD. And, welcome back, me. Welcome back. I've missed you guys. I hope you enjoyed my Cobblepod. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. So long.